Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parishara Saraswata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gantrat Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Tagore Pramanande Hari Hari Bol. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 3, Chapter number 23, titled Devahuti's Lamentation. Text number 9. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Evam Bruvanam Abhala Kila Yoga Maya. Evam Bruvanam Abhala Kila Yoga Maya. Vidya Vichaksanam Aveksha Gata Dirasit. Vidya Vichaksanam Aveksha Gata Dirasit. Samprasraya Pranaya Vivalaya Giresat. Samprasraya Pranaya Vivalaya Giresat. Vriddavaloka Vilasad Dasita Nanaha. Vriddavaloka Vilasad Dasita Nanaha. Evam Bruvanam Abhala Kila Yoga Maya. Vidya Vichaksanam Aveksha Gata Dirasid. Samprasraya Pranaya Vivalaya Giresat. Vriddavaloka Vilasad Dasita Nanaha. Evam Bruvanam Abhala Kila Yoga Maya. Vidya Vichaksanam Aveksha Gata Dirasid. Samprasraya Pranaya Vivalaya Giresat. Vriddavaloka Vilasad Dasita Nanaha. Evam Bruvanam Akila Lokamaya. Vichaksanam Aveksha Gata Dirasit. Samprasraya pranaya vibalaya giresat. Vriddha baloka vilasad dasitananaha. Evam bruvanam abala kila yoga maya. Vidya vichaksanam aveksha gata dirasit. Samprasraya pranaya vivalaya giresat. Vriddha valoka vilasa dasitananaha. Mataji? Evam bruvanam abala kila yoga maya. Vidya vichaksanam aveksha gata dirasit. Samprasraya pranaya vivalaya giresat. Vriddha baloka vilasa dasitananaha. Word for translation. Evam, thus. Bruvanam, speaking. Abala, the woman. Akhila, all. Yogamaya, of transcendental science. Vidya vichaksanam, excelling in knowledge. Aveksha, after hearing. Gata adi, satisfied. Asit, she became. Samprasraya, with humility. Pranaya, and with love. Vivalaya, choked up. Gira, with a voice. Isat, slightly. Vriddha, bashful. Avaloka, with a glance. Vilasat, shining. Hasita, smiling. Anana, her face. Aha, she spoke. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Upon hearing the speaking of her husband, who excelled in knowledge of all kinds of transcendental science, innocent Devahuti was very satisfied. Her smiling face shining with a slightly bashful glance, she spoke in a choked voice because of great humility and love. Purport. It is said that if one is already engaged in Krishna consciousness and is rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord, then it can be supposed that he has finished all the recommended courses of austerity, penance, religion, sacrifice, mystic yoga, and meditation. Devahuti's husband was so expert in the transcendental science that there was nothing for him to argue about. And when she heard him speak, she was confident that since he was very much advanced in devotional service, he had already surpassed all transcendental educational activities. She had no doubt about the gifts offered by her husband. She knew that he was expert in offering such gifts, and when she understood that he was offering the greatest gift, she was very satisfied. She was overwhelmed with ecstatic love, and therefore she could not reply. Then, with faltering language, just like an attractive wife, she spoke the following words. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksul Meitam Yena Tasmei Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So thank you for coming to Srimad Bhagavatam class today. So reading from Canto 3, chapter number 23, titled Devahuti's Lamentation, text number 9. So I'll read the translation again. Upon hearing the speaking of her husband, who excelled in knowledge of all kinds of transcendental science, innocent Devahuti was very satisfied. Her smiling face, shining with a slightly bashful glance, she spoke in a choked voice, because of great humility and love. So one of the main lessons Prabhupada explains in his purports in this section that we can learn from the example of Mother Devahuti is that Prabhupada explains just as Mother Devahuti, she is so selflessly serving her husband, forgetting about her own personal needs, her own needs and wants. She is selflessly trying to serve and assist her husband in his spiritual activities, in his devotional service to Krishna. So Prabhupada explains, just as Devahuti as an ideal chaste wife is serving her husband, in the same way, we should learn from her how we as disciples should serve our spiritual master. So just like she is selflessly serving her husband, Prabhupada explains, in that same mood, we should also take lesson, we should also take inspiration in how we should serve our spiritual masters. So one of the verses earlier on, a few verses ago, Kadama Muni was telling to Mother Devahuti that ordinarily speaking, everyone in this material world, they are very much attached to their body. The most dear thing for everyone in this world is their own body. But Kadama Muni explains, although the body is the most dear possession of all living entities, you have neglected your own body and have selflessly given your life to serve me. And Kadama Muni, he was feeling great gratitude in his heart for the selfless service rendered by his wife. Ordinarily speaking, a lady, she takes care of her body nicely, she decorates her hair with different ornaments, her body, so on and so forth. So, ordinarily speaking, Kadama Muni, he understands that in general, all human beings, all living entities, they're very much in bodily consciousness. The most dear thing is their body. But my wife, she is so selfless, she loves me so much, that she has completely forgot to take care of her own body. She has become so skinny, emaciated. Her hair has become all matted. She hasn't been washing and cleaning her hair. And her face is all, withering away. So she has neglected her health so much just to serve me. So if someone does the same thing to us, naturally we will feel so much gratitude that this particular devotee, this particular person, he's serving me with so much love, with so much selfless devotion, completely neglecting his own health. Then naturally we feel so grateful, we will feel very indebted to that particular person. So this is what Kadama Muni is feeling. He's feeling great indebtedness to his wife. He's feeling great indebtedness for the selfless service that she has been rendering for such a long time. And Prabhupada explains that if we understand Mother Devahuti's background, that it's not that she was born as the daughter of a Brahmana. It's not that her whole life she grew up in a forest, amongst rishis, so on and so forth. No, she was actually a princess. No ordinary princess. She was the princess of the emperor of the whole world, Swayambhu Manu. So she grew up in such the topmost opulence in the universe. But now she's living in a forest, following the same rules and vows that her husband is doing. So such a huge shift. Imagine your whole life, for 20 years, you've just been living, in the topmost opulence, in a very rich family. Then suddenly, next moment, you're in the forest, living in a very simple hut, very austere life. We'll find it very hard to cope up with the sudden change. Just like when devotees, they go for a trip to India or to Vrindavan or some dham in India, Mayapur, Vrindavan, immediately there's the culture shock. For one whole year or a few years you've been living in Australia, in Western country, then suddenly you go to India, then immediately, devotees, they have problem with digestion, problem with the weather, oh, it's so hot, problem with the people, everything, problem with the pollution. It's like such a big change just from going from one country to another. But for Mother Devotee, her whole life, for 20 years, she was there in the topmost opulence. Then next minute she knows she's there in the middle of a forest, living the same life as of the sages and rishis. Very austere life. But she was able to adjust so easily, so quickly. And she was so devoted, she was such a chaste lady, that she just completely forgot about herself and she just absorbed her whole mind in serving her husband. And Kadamoni, he was doing his devotional service, he was taking the assistance from his wife. But after some time, one day he just looks at his wife and he sees that, her whole body has changed. He remembers how initially when he married her, she was, looking like a princess, decorated very nicely, very beautiful, very attractive. But one day Kadamoni sees, and he sees that, the physical appearance of her wife has completely changed. She has become so skinny, so emaciated. Her hair has become all matted up. And then he understands that, oh my God, for so long she has been serving me so selflessly, she has forgotten to take care of herself. And just look at it, she has become so skinny, so emaciated. Then his heart starts melting out of gratitude for his wife. That, she has served me so nicely, I have to do something to reciprocate. I'm indebted to her. So this was the great selfless devotion of Mother Devahuti, which Bhagavatam glorifies. And how did she forget to take care of her own body? Because of absorption in her service. One time, a particular devotee, he asked His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj that, Maharaj, can you please describe the process of Krishna consciousness in one word? If there was one word you can use to describe the path of bhakti, to describe the process of Krishna consciousness, what would that be? And Radhanath Maharaj, he explains, absorption. If there is one word we can use to describe the process of Krishna consciousness, that is absorption. Krishna consciousness means, bhakti means, devotional service means, to 24 hours a day just be absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, in thoughts of serving Krishna, in thoughts of serving Krishna's devotees. So that is the one word we can use to describe bhakti, absorption. So when someone is in that frequency of being completely absorbed in selfless devotional service, then one naturally forgets about his own sense gratification. And one is just simply absorbed in what is best for Krishna's service. So Mother Devahuti, she had that absorption. She became so absorbed in serving her husband that she just forgot about herself. She forgot about her own needs, she forgot about her own sense gratification, her own desires, and she just went full on, with full on absorption, serving her wife, serving her husband. So when Kadamani, after some time, he sees this, naturally, his heart melts, he feels great gratitude, and to reciprocate, now we're hearing in these verses how Kadamani is now bestowing upon his wife all the fruits of his austerities he has accumulated. And in the same way, Prabhupada explains, as I was explaining at the start of the class, one of the key lessons Srila Prabhupada explains that we should learn from this section is we should see how Mother Devahuti is selflessly serving her husband, and we should take that same service attitude and apply it in our relationship with our spiritual masters. So just like Mother Devahuti is so, with such deep absorption, serving her husband, in that same mood of absorption, in that same mood of selfless devotion, we should serve our spiritual masters. So that is, Prabhupada explains, one of the main lessons we should learn from this. And what happens when we do this? Just like Mother Devahuti, she's just serving. Then Kadamba Muni, he becomes overcome by gratitude, and Kadamba Muni tells Mother Devahuti that for so long you have been serving me. Now, whatever spiritual credits I have accumulated from my tapasya, from my devotional service, from my austerities, I am going to give you the results of all of that. I'm going to bestow upon you all the spiritual credits I have attained. And in that purport, for that verse, a few verses ago, Prabhupada explains, just like Kadamba Muni, he is bestowing all of his spiritual credits onto his wife. In the same way, when a disciple serves his spiritual master with great sincerity, with selfless devotion, then when the spiritual master is pleased, whatever spiritual credits the spiritual master has acquired through his devotional service, the spiritual master, the guru, he also bestows upon the disciple. And Prabhupada explains this is the fast track to devotional service. Just like in the airport, they have these travelators, these travelators. If you get on, it was just like a machine, it will just carry you very quickly. You don't have to walk. So if you get on these travelators, you'll go very quickly. Or you have an escalator and you have the stairs. If you use the stairs, it will take you, longer time than if you just take the escalator. If you take the escalator, you don't have to put any effort. The machine itself will just take you up. So in the same way, Prabhupada explains, serving the spiritual master, serving the devotees is like the escalator up. We don't have to put much effort. All we have to do is somehow or other please our spiritual masters, and they themselves will bestow upon us their blessings. They themselves will bestow upon us whatever spiritual credits they have, and by the strength of their spiritual credits, by the strength of their blessings, we can very quickly make advancement in devotional service. This holds true for us serving any devotee, not just a Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru. Whenever we serve any devotee, when that particular devotee becomes pleased by our service, their blessings automatically flows from their heart and comes upon us. Bhagavatam explains that when we serve another particular Vaishnava, then when we please them, 1/6 of their spiritual credits gets bestowed upon us. So in this way, we very quickly start making spiritual advancement. When we go out of our way and serve different devotees, different Vaishnavas, we will collect different blessings from different devotees. In this way, we will grow stronger and stronger in devotional service. In this way, we will advance quicker and quicker compared to us trying to make progress by our own endeavor. It's a very slow progress. Just like the example Prabhupada gives of the stairs. If we climb up the stairs, from our side, we have to put the effort to walk up the stairs. So there's more effort from our side. Plus, it will take us longer to go from level 1 to level 2. But if we take the escalator, we don't have to put any effort. We just stand there, the escalator itself will take us up. So there's less effort required on the escalator. Plus, the time it takes to go from level 1 to 2 is also quicker. So both ways it benefits, Prabhupada explains. So Mother Devahuti, being the daughter of Swayambhu Manu, who is one of the 12 Mahajans, so naturally she would have got all devotional training from her childhood. So since her childhood, she was brought up in a very great Vaishnava family. Her mother was Satarupa, her father was Swayambhu Manu, one of the 12 Mahajans. Her brother was King Priyavata, another great exalted devotee of the Lord. So from all angles, she had such a great upbringing. So she knew the value of service, she knew all of this. So that's why she was very selflessly, very intelligently serving her husband. And just after a short period of time of serving her husband, she reaps the benefits. Prabhupada explains, Bhagavatam explains that for a woman or a lady, generally, because she was brought up as a princess, she hadn't done much austerities, tapasya, service, so on and so forth. So it's uncommon for someone like her to get very advanced in spiritualization. But because she took the fast track of serving another great devotee of the Lord, she advanced very quickly. Although from her side, she didn't sit in the forest, do tapasya. Although from her side, she didn't go on pilgrimage to different holy places of pilgrimage. Although from her side she didn't do much tapasya, austerities, so on and so forth, still she became very advanced. How? By serving a devotee of the Lord. And by serving a devotee of the Lord, all the spiritual credits of that devotee was bestowed upon her. So in this way, she very quickly advanced. Although she didn't put much effort from her side, she became advanced very quickly, just by serving another devotee. So this, Prabhupada explains, is the fast track to make spiritual advancement. And Prabhupada says, one who is very intelligent, like Mother Devahuti, they will take to the fast track. Because in Kali Yuga, life is very short. Our mind is very flickering. We waste so much time in so many different ways. So we can't afford to take the slow process of trying to do it on our own endeavor. We need all the blessings we can get. We need all the mercy we can get to advance. So an intelligent devotee is one who is always seeking to serve other devotees, who is always seeking to get the blessings of other devotees, because that is how we will advance in spiritual life. Sometimes, devotees, they come up to other devotees and ask, that, oh, Prabhuji, Mataji, please give me your blessings, please give me your blessings, so on and so forth. Externally, it's one thing to ask for blessings. And, okay, we ask for a devotee, please give me a blessing. They'll say, okay, Prabhu, I'll pray for you, or you have my blessings. That's something. But real blessings from a Vaishnava comes upon us when we please another devotee, when we are able to satisfy another devotee through our service. Then we don't have to externally ask, can you please give me your blessings? They themselves will helplessly bestow upon us their blessings. When we render some service onto another Vaishnava, and when we somehow or other please or satisfy that devotee being pleased with our service will helplessly bestow upon us their blessings. We don't have to externally go, please give me your blessings, can you please give me blessings? Devotees might externally say, okay, Prabhu, you have my blessings. That's something, but real blessings comes, Prabhupada explains, when we serve and satisfy another devotee. Sometimes, devotees, they will go up to Maharajas or sannyasis or to a spiritual master and say, Maharaj or Gurudev, please give me your blessings. And the spiritual master, Gurudev, will say, okay, you have my blessings. Okay, you have my blessings. Okay, that's something. But the real blessings of the Guru will come when we render service onto the lotus feet and we're able to please them, when we're able to satisfy them. When that happens, when Krishna sees that we have pleased one of his devotees, then automatically blessings flows from the heart of the superior Vaishnava onto us. Not just from that devotee, we automatically get the blessings of Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. So both ways we make advancement. We get blessings of Radha Gopinath because they're pleased we're serving one of the devotees, and that blessings of that particular Vaishnava we have pleased by service, we get their blessings automatically. That is when real blessings flows. Just like with Mother Devahuti. How did she get blessings of Kadama Muni? Is she coming up to Kadama Muni and asking, my dear husband, can you please give me your blessings? My dear husband, can you please give me your blessings? Can you please give me the dust of your lotus feet? She's not just externally flattering her husband. Please give me your blessings, please give me that. No. There's no verse we have read so far where she's asking this. All she does is she just selflessly serves her husband, trying to see where she can assist her husband in his spiritual life. So her whole mood, her whole focus is how I can please my husband, how I can satisfy him. He is a pure devout Lord. How can I assist him in his service to Shri Shri Radha Gopinath? How can I please him? How can I satisfy him? This was her whole mood. And when through her service she satisfies Kadama Muni, when through her service she pleases Kadama Muni, automatically Kadama Muni, he himself is coming from his side and giving full blessings onto her. Whatever spiritual credits he has acquired from decades and decades, hundreds and thousands of years of tapasya, he is giving at once onto Devahuti. She is not asking, can you please give me your blessings? He himself is giving. So real blessings, Prabhupada explains, flows from a devotee to another devotee when we're able to please or satisfy that particular Vaishnava. Externally, we can, like a parrot just asks, just for the sake of it, can you give me your blessings? so on and so forth. That's something, that's nice culture to flow to help us to become humble. But the real blessings we will get only when we are able to please another Vaishnava. In that time, we don't have to ask. That devotee, him himself, he will feel so much gratitude in his heart for our service, he himself will helplessly give his blessings onto us. And at the same time, Super Soul is seated within our heart. Super Soul is seated in the other devotee's heart. Super Soul is watching what's going on. He'll be also pleased and he will also bestow his blessings onto us. So in this way, we can advance very nicely or very quickly in devotional service with little effort. There is another verse that comes to mind from 7th canto of Bhagavatam. So 7th canto of Bhagavatam, after, it's like divided into two sections. First canto, 7th canto talks about Prahlad Maharaj and Lord Nrsimhadev and Hiranyakashipu. The second half of 7th canto talks about a conversation that takes place between Narad Muni and King Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking questions and Narad Muni is answering these questions. So one of the questions that Yudhishthira Maharaj asked Narad Muni is about Varnashram system. What are the duties of the different Varnas? What are the duties of the different ashramas? And there's one very beautiful verse that Narad Muni speaks in this section of 7th canto. And this verse talks about the duties of a brahmachari. So some of us might think, then duties for brahmachari means it should only be for those devotees who are staying in the temple. But actually, if we look at this verse from a broad perspective, it applies for all of us. Because Prabhupada, he used to say that actually every single devotee in a Hare Krishna movement, he is a brahmachari. Prabhupada explained that there is brahmachari, and then there is grihastha brahmachari. So this was Prabhupada's view. According to Srila Prabhupada, everyone in our movement is considered brahmachari. Either you're brahmachari or you're grihastha brahmachari, or vanaprastha brahmachari or sannyasa brahmachari. Everyone in our movement is a brahmachari. So if we look on this verse from that perspective, we can, all of us, regardless of our ashram, we can all take lessons from this. And this particular verse specifically focuses on Guru Bhakti, how a disciple should selflessly serve his spiritual master, which we're talking about today. So when it comes to describing the brahmachari ashram, Narad Muni, he sums up the whole brahmachari ashram, the duties of a brahmachari, in one very beautiful verse. Narad Muni says, Brahmachari Gurukule Vasan Danto Gurur Hitam Acharan Dasava Nicho Guru Suhrida Sohrida. So what does this mean? Narad Muni says that Brahmachari Gurukule, Brahmachari is one who stays in the Gurukul. Or Gurukul is what? What is the definition of Gurukul? Gurukul is the house of the Guru, or the place of residence of the spiritual master. So a brahmachari is one who stays in the house of the Guru. So all of us live in a temple. This temple is Srila Prabhupada's house, and we are living in Srila Prabhupada's house. And for those of us who are in the householder ashram, we should similarly view our houses as the property of our spiritual masters. So when we take Diksha, when we get initiation from our spiritual master, at that time, we surrender everything we have in our possession onto the lotus feet of our spiritual master. Whatever wealth, possessions, anything we have is all the property of our spiritual master after the time of initiation. Not only do we give our wealth, our home, but our family, our mind, our words, our very life and soul, we dedicate onto the lotus feet of the spiritual master. So that is the meaning of initiation. So a true disciple, he understands that whatever he has in his possession is actually the property of his guru. This is all my spiritual master's property. This house I have is actually my spiritual master's house. These children I have, they're actually devotees, of my spiritual master of Krishna. I need to take care of them. This, my spouse, she's also Krishna's property. My guru's devotee, so I need to take care of them. So in that mood, that consciousness, one is supposed to practice spiritual life in his ashram. So just like the brahmachari who's staying in the temple, he sees the temple as his spiritual master's house. In the same way, grihasthas, they're also advised to see their houses as actually the property of their spiritual master, as actually a temple of the Lord, as actually the property of their gurus, which they need to take care of nicely. So that is lesson number 1, Narad Muni says, Brahmachari Gurukule. Lesson number 2, Narad Muni says, Brahmachari Gurukule Vasandanto Guror Hitam. Vasandanto means a brahmachari is one who practices sense control, who practices controlling his senses. So how do we control our senses? If we strictly just follow whatever rules and regulations Srila Prabhupada has given us, our senses will automatically be controlled. For example, our senses, our mind is telling us, sleep in, don't wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Sleep in as much as you like, wake up at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, so on and so forth. So by default, that's what our mind is telling us. But what does Srila Prabhupada tell us? Srila Prabhupada tells us, wake up early in the morning during Brahma Muhurta. So in this way, we are pushing our senses to follow what the Guru is giving us. In this way, we are, instead of being a slave of our mind and senses, we are becoming Goswamis. We are becoming masters of our mind and senses. In this way, we are practicing sense control. Our mind is telling us, why should we chant? We're feeling sleepy, it's hard, mind is going here and there. It's austere to sit and chant in the morning. But still, we force ourselves to chant because the Guru has advised, chant 16 rounds every day. So in this way, if we just strictly follow whatever rules and regulations Srila Prabhupada has set aside for us, automatically sense control is practiced. Vasandantur Gurur Hitam. Lesson number 3, Narad Muni says, is Gurur Hitam. A brahmachari, either a brahmachari, a grihastha brahmachari, he should practice Gurur Hitam. What does Gurur Hitam means? Gurur Hitam means that every single activity that we do, and if we want to go even more deeper, every single thought that comes in our mind should be simply based on how can I please my Guru, how I can assist my Guru, how I can serve my Guru in his service to Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. All of our activities should be in line with that. All of our thoughts should be in line with that. That is the meaning of Gurur Hitam, which means the disciple, he makes his heart and soul the pleasure of the Guru. Whatever pleases the Guru, he will do that. Whatever will assist the Guru in his service, he will do that. And his whole activities, his whole mindset, all of his thoughts in his mind, is always thinking and calculating. His mind and intelligence always calculating, what service should I do next? What service should I do next? How I can please him more? What other way I can assist him? So this is the meaning of brahmacharya. So again, either we're in the temple as brahmacharis, or in the household ashram as grihastha brahmacharis. Either case, Prabhupada explains, we should practice this. We should, because by default, our consciousness, our mind and senses are trained to always think what is good for my sense gratification, what is good for my senses, what is good for my tongue, my ears, my eyes. And we've been living a very selfish life for so many years and so many lifetimes. So we have to reprogram our minds, we have to reprogram our intelligence to, instead of always thinking about ourselves, to always thinking about our spiritual masters. What we can do to please Srila Prabhupada, what we can do to serve Srila Prabhupada and push forward his movement. Okay, so that's Brahmachari Gurukule Vasandanto Gurur Hitam. Then next, Narad Muni explains, Acharan Dasavan Nicho. Achar means behavior. So how does a brahmachari behave? Acharan Dasavan Nicho. Dasa means servant. Nicho means very low. So by behavior, a brahmachari, he behaves just like a very menial, lowly servant. He is very submissive. So that is the mood in which we should approach the Guru. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains, when we come in front of our superior Vaishnavas, superior devotees, our spiritual masters, our mood should be that actually I am a fool. I don't know anything. You are my senior. Whatever you ask me to do, I will do. With that mood, if we go approach senior Vaishnavas, with that mood, if we approach our spiritual master, that is the best mood, Mahaprabhu explains. for guru-disciple relationship. No matter how advanced the disciple may be, he might be a great pandit, might have studied so many shastras, he might have memorized so many slokas, he might have this skill, that ability, he might have so much opulence. No matter who we are, what skills we have, what talents we have, when we come in front of our guru, the mood we should have is Guru Mora Murkha Dekhi. I am a murkha, I am a fool, I don't know anything. You're the guru, you're the spiritual master, whatever you ask me to do, I will do. With that mood, one is supposed to associate or approach the spiritual master. So, acharan dasavan nicho. By behavior, one is supposed to act just like a very menial, lowly servant. What does a very menial, lowly servant do? A menial servant, he is prepared to do anything and everything for the spiritual master. He never argues that I'll only do this service, I won't do that service. This service is, not to my liking, I won't do this. If someone is a menial servant, a lowly servant, whatever you ask them to do, they will do. They will never argue. They will never talk back. They will never speak back. Any service you give them, they will immediately do. Yes, sir, I will do it. That is the meaning of menial servant. That is the meaning of brahmacharya, Narad Muni explains. So regardless whether we're brahmachari, grihastha brahmachari, we need to train ourselves to function on that platform. That any service that comes to us from our superiors, from our mentors or spiritual guides or a spiritual master, we should be prepared to do it. We should never talk back challenge. Again, Mahaprabhu, he explains from his own practical example. Guru Mora Murkha Dekhi. That a disciple in front of the guru, he should always act as if he doesn't know anything. Although he might be advanced, have so many talents, this and that, when it comes to serving the guru, he should act just like a menial servant, acharan dasavan nicho. Menial servant means any service you ask them to do, they will do it. They will never argue that this service I won't do. I am so and so, I have, don't you know who I am? How can you ask me to do this service? They will never argue, they will never talk back. They will happily do any service. And Prabhupada, in his translation word for word, Prabhupada uses the word submissive or obedient. So this is one of the very key qualities that we need to develop as disciples of our spiritual masters. One of the very key qualities a disciple should have in his relationship with the guru is obedience or submissiveness. A disciple is very submissive to the instruction of the spiritual master. He is very obedient. Whatever instructions the guru gives, he will carry it out. We see with Srila Prabhupada, he just got 2 instructions from his spiritual master. That you preach in the English language in the Western countries, and if you ever get money, you print books. And his whole life, Prabhupada was just meditating on how I can fulfill those instructions. But our unfortunate condition is such, we will get so many instructions from our senior guides, our mentors, and half the instructions we will just choose to ignore. This instruction I like, okay, I'll follow. This instruction I don't like, I'll just ignore. It's okay. Half instruction if I follow, that's okay. The other half if I ignore, that's okay. They will understand, Krishna will understand. No. Prabhupada explains full obedience, submissiveness. If we do half surrender, we will get half mercy. We do 70% surrender, 70% obedience, 70% submissiveness. That's how much mercy we'll get. If we give full 100% surrender, 100% obedience to the instructions of spiritual master, 100% submissiveness to the words of the guru, then we will get 100% mercy flowing to us from the guru. 100% mercy flowing to us from Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. As Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, Ye yatamam prapajante tamstateva vajamiham. As all surrender unto me, I reciprocate accordingly. We follow 10%, ignore the rest 90% of instructions, only 10% mercy we will give. But if we follow full 100%, then we will get full 100% mercy. That's why some devotees, they advance very quickly. Some devotees, they take a long time to advance. And sometimes we might wonder, how is it this devotee or that devotee, he's advancing so quickly? Why is it it's taking me so long? It seems that, there's some bias maybe. No, there's no bias in the process. The devotee who's making more advancement, he's more surrendered than us. So naturally, he's getting more mercy from Krishna. Naturally, he's getting more mercy from other Vaishnavas. That's why he's advancing very quickly. We're not so surrendered. We're only partially surrendered. That's why we're getting partial mercy. So there is no bias, there is no partiality in Krishna consciousness. If we take inspiration from that devotee who's advancing very quickly, and we also try and follow in their footsteps, then we'll also make very quick advancement. So instead of being jealous or envious, we should take encouragement, take inspiration, and try and follow those devotees who are advancing nicely in Krishna consciousness. Okay, last line of this verse. So we covered Brahmachari Gurukule Vasandanto Gurohitam Acharan Dasava Nicho. By Achar, by behavior, he behaves like a menial servant in front of his Guru. Then last line is Guru Suhrida Sohrida. The last line explains that a disciple should serve the spiritual master with great friendship. So what does this mean? That we should have strong friendship with the spiritual master. Strong friendship with the spiritual master doesn't mean we become very familiar with the Guru and we pat our Guru in the back, we crack jokes with our spiritual master. Not like that. Prabhupada, he advised his disciples that we should never become too familiar with our Guru or spiritual masters. Like one time Prabhupada was in Mayapur, Prabhupada was taking a bath in the Ganga with his other disciples. So Prabhupada was in his Gamcha taking bath, and his other disciples were there also taking bath, some brahmachari sannyasis. And some of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they started splashing a bit of water onto Srila Prabhupada, just for fun like that. And then Prabhupada, he immediately warns those disciples that, keep a distance, don't get too familiar with the Guru. Otherwise, you'll commit Guru Aprad. You'll commit offense at the lotus feet of the spiritual master. So we should never think, we should never become too familiar with the spiritual master. Although the spiritual master might sometimes crack jokes from his side with us, from our sides, we should never joke with them. From our side, we should be very grave and just have that service mentality, how I can serve him, how I can assist him in his service. So then what does this last line mean? That the disciple should have a firm friendship with the Guru. Firm friendship means, my Guru Maharaj explains, that firm friendship with the spiritual master means that we assist the spiritual master in his mission to Shri Radha Gopinath, in his mission to his spiritual master. That is the meaning of friendship. Just like, in the temple, one of our good friends is doing some service. We see one of our friends is cleaning the temple. And he's the only one cleaning, and there's so much cleaning to be done. Then naturally, as a friend, we'll come and ask our friend, hey, Prabhu, it seems like there's a lot of cleaning to be done. Can I help you? I have some free time. Tell me what I can do. I'll help you clean. Or you come to the kitchen, you see some devotees are cooking, and they're your friends. Then you ask them, okay, this service you're doing, cooking for Sunday feast, I have some time. Can I please assist you, in your cooking? Please tell me what I can do to help you in your service. So this is the meaning of friendship. Friendship means you see your friend doing a particular service and you come and try and assist them in that service. So in the same way, the disciple should have that same bond of friendship with the Guru. A disciple is supposed to observe the mood of the spiritual master. What is my spiritual master's mood? What is he likes? What is it, how is it that my spiritual master is trying to serve Shri Radha Gopinath? And then once the disciple sees or understands the mood of the Guru, then the disciple tries to assist the Guru in his mission. For example, Srila Prabhupada, he observed the mood of his spiritual master. And Prabhupada told his disciples that from my observation and from the instructions I got from my Guru, I could understand that book distribution, the printing and distribution of transcendental literatures was very much dear to my spiritual master's heart. My spiritual master told me, this is Prabhupada talking, Prabhupada is telling his disciples that my spiritual master told me that if you ever get money, you print books. My spiritual master told me that ever since, that if I could sell this marble and print more books and distribute, I will happily sell this marble. So in this way, Prabhupada explains that many times my spiritual master talked about the importance of printing and distributing books. And from these words of my guru, I could understand, okay, this is the mood of my guru. The mood of my guru is how to print more books and how to distribute more transcendental literature. So Prabhupada, he understood the mood of a spiritual master and he went with that frequency to assist his spiritual master in that. Then Prabhupada established ISKCON, BBT, then Prabhupada from his side, he started printing so many books and distributing to assist his spiritual master in his mission. So in the same way, we should also have that same bond of friendship with our spiritual masters. We should observe and see what is the particular service my spiritual master is doing, what is his mood, what is the mission he is into, and we should try and assist them in their mission to Srila Prabhupada, in their mission to their service to Sri Sri Radha Gopinath. So in this way, it's just a small sloka, but so much deep lessons Narad Muni is giving in this very beautiful verse in 7th canto, explaining the duties of a brahmachari, but in a broader sense, the duty of every single disciple he should have or he has towards his spiritual master. And this, Prabhupada explains, is one of the main lessons we can learn from the example of Mother Devahuti. Okay, I'll stop here. Is there any questions or comments? Okay, Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Tagore Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.